This is the car that I'm working on making drive itself. So far I've made it steer itself, and I can make it go forward and backwards, and I can make it steer itself based on pictures and a video of a car driving down the road, which you can see on one of my other videos. I had wished
Other builders
would share their thought processes, so I'm going to share mine, and hopefully it'll help people. Okay, so this is me really working on solving this problem right now. Okay, what it's doing is, I'll flip the camera so you code better. What it's doing is it's taking in a steering angle command either from the Raspberry Pi or from the PC. It's taking command which is a normalized steering angle, but I want it to take in the actual steering angle instead of the normalized version, because this is now set to either turn left, go straight, or turn right. But I want it to just take in the angle and do whatever the angle is. So my thought process on this right now is, hold on, I'm going to think through it. It might be a bit boring, but thinking is a big part of it. Okay, so first thing is I'll think, what is the end result I'm looking for? So the end result is that I want this to steer itself. Okay, now how do I want it to steer itself? By this motor controller sending electrons. You can picture dots, sending those through this red and black wire. Yes, through the red and black wires that connect to this wire that connects to the motor that just turns left or right. And so what I want it to do is do specific angles. So my thought process is that I can, start at the end result, think first principles. So I want the electrons to flow one way or the other way, but I want them to do it in a specific timing so it can adjust the angle of the car. And it can know the angle and keep feeding back, telling it which way to turn until it gets correct by this potentiometer. I'll turn the slide on so you can see it. But this blue potentiometer. Those potentiometers cost like 50 cents or something like that. So what I will do is look here and think, okay, this might be a bit boring because I'm just thinking. I'll speak what I'm thinking though. Okay, numbers. All right, so this is turning one direction if that value is above a certain amount, other direction otherwise. Okay, so what I will do is just start from scratch in a way. I'll forget that this right method, this left method, and that this straight method exists. Okay, read steering angle. So the value that I want to come in is the actual steering angle. All right, I can handle the thing that sends the steering angle from the regular Python program that sends it to this ESP32. This is the code for the ESP32, that circuit board that costs like $5 approximately on Amazon. Okay, so I want it to read the steering angle, so this will be in degrees. All right, the next thing I want it to do is, let's see, read steering angle. So it should output the steering angle in degrees also. Okay, so now, how can I break this apart? This will probably get really boring, but okay, so here's my thinking on it. Just going to pause and think, and then describe what I'm thinking. Right now my mind's clear. pretty much not really thinking anything, hardly. Seems like. Okay, like, I'm actually trying to feel what would be the best thing to do. And then the idea usually comes to mind, like, kind of sounds weird, but kind of feel it in my heart, my thoughts. And then it comes to mind. Okay, so I want it to steer itself. So I can break it apart into chunks. That's how I can do it. That's one way to do it, I think. Okay, so the full range of these wheels is approximately, let's see, straight is 0 degrees in this, the way I've set it up. I want left to be negative degrees and right to be positive. So, let's see, straight would be 0. This would be 90. Half of that would be 45. So, see, straight 0, this is 90, half is 45, but it looks like it's half of that. So that's about 22.5 degrees. So simplify it, leave a little margin of error, say that, yeah, about approximately 20 degrees. Okay, so 20 degrees left or 20 degrees right. Okay, now I know the thing responds in probably about half-second increments, quarter second increments. Because when I got it to set up the thing to go straight, that command for straight, which is right, what it does is it checks the potentiometer, and if it's too far one direction, then it says make it bump the other direction, and vice versa. So if it's too far one direction, just say if it's above 1755, then D equals 1023, which is the highest value in the 0th index, and index 1 is the lowest value of 0. So this is index 0, which would contain 1023. So the LPWM, which is the left turn, thing that makes it turn left, or the LPWM duty cycle, would be equal to 1023, which is the maximum. So that would turn left, and then the right command would turn off, so it wouldn't turn right. In other words, it would just turn left. And it says it would wait 1/20th of a second, or 0.05 seconds, and then it would turn both of them off. That way it doesn't keep turning too far. But I have it set to loop 8 times, and what it'll do is when it loops 8 times, well, it'll loop up to 8 times. So it'll check the value of this and send the command to nudge the steering wheel, like just say if they're pointed this direction or this direction, you want them straight, it'll nudge it slightly. The way it'll nudge it slightly is it'll just turn on the command to turn it right here, but it'll do it just really fast, and then it'll turn that command off. That way it just barely bumps it, because it doesn't have enough time to turn much. Then it'll check the angle again, and if the angle's high enough, or if the angle's in the right position, it just breaks out of the loop. Otherwise, if it's in the right range or whatever, it breaks out of the loop. But if it's not in the right range, it'll bump it again, and it'll keep gradually doing that. It does it really fast. It'll do that until it gets straight in that correct range. So the maximum speed I've got it to do it is about like this. It goes about like that. So I can break this apart into specific degrees. So if it goes left 20 degrees, right 20 degrees, well, I suppose I can just make it go each degree in increment. Okay, so what I would do is taking that 1023 maximum value from that potentiometer, a blue potentiometer. Okay, so how can I convert this to degrees ranging from negative 20 to positive 20? Well, here's a tool that reduces the amount of brain power used to accomplish the results, and it is Claude Code. All right, so see, I want it to do I specifically want it to do thinking what to type. Okay, so this would be probably a boring part too while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so I want it to turn. Okay, I want Python output from lane. I'm typing with one hand, so it's taking a while. From lane detection into ESP32 to be in degrees, and I want ESP32 to take in degrees and check potentiometer and turn or end convert potentiometer reading into degrees. Then steering, then make steering command to cause wheels to be at that angle from lane detection program. Okay. All right. So now I will just hit enter and let it do its thing. Read what it says too. Okay, it's doing its thing now. Okay. Do you want to make this edit? So I'm going to glance through here and see what it's going to edit, what it's planning on doing. It says, I'll help you modify the Python code to send degrees and create ESP32 code to handle the steering control. Let me first check if you have existing ESP32 code. Okay, it says, now I'll modify both files to work with the degrees. Alright, so I have the code backed up in case this doesn't work. So now I will just hit enter and begin. Or it begins once I hit enter. Okay, now it's doing its thing. Still doing its thing. Okay, this says it shows what it's removing and what it's adding, and I will say yes, or hit enter where it said yeah. Now waiting for it again. Okay, you want to modify it? Yes. $2,300 tokens, or 3,800 tokens, or whatever. Okay, now let's see what it says. Okay, it says done. Here's what I changed. Now sends, hold on. Now send steering angle. Where'd it go? Oh, Python lane detection now sends steering angle in degrees from -45 to 45. Yeah, good enough. Instead of normalized value. Okay. ESP32 main file. Okay, it's new functions. Reads steer potentiometer. Reads raw potentiometer value. Potentiometer degrees, potentiometer value goes into there, converts potentiometer readings to degrees. Reads steering angle, reads current steering angle in degrees. Steer to angle, target degrees, controls motors to reach target angle. Main loop, receives target angle in degrees from Python. Reads current wheel angle from potentiometer, converted to degrees. Continuously adjusts steering to match target angle. Calibration values. Adjust these. This one I'm interested in is the calibration. See if it's doing it right. Adjust these values to, or on, based on your setup. Potentiometer center is that. The minimum is that. Maximum is that. To calibrate manually, turn wheels to the left, or full to the left, center, and right positions. Note the potentiometer readings. Then update these values in the code. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so now I will go here and zoom out a little bit, and then click do this and run the program. Okay, I want it on the, I'll do the highway one. Okay, and it'll use number 2, that file for the test. Okay, now it's creating the green overlay where it finds the lanes, and the degrees of steering's on the top left up here. So it's set to output a command to the ESP32 every few, like 3 seconds or somewhere on there, or 5 seconds or whatever. Okay, so it's outputting degrees, and see, it says to ESP32. Alright, so now I will open up the ESP32 code, and I will click on here. Then this is what it changed up here. So hold control, hit A, and that highlights everything in that file. Then hold control and hit C, and that copies it. Then I can go to the to Thonny, where that's located, and just click on there. Then Control V and it'll Control A to highlight everything. Then Control V to paste the new code into there. Okay, now I will Control S to save. Alright, now just go up here and run it and see what happens. Okay, it says ready, waiting for steering command, degrees, potentiometer, center, blah blah blah, current, steering, whatever is that. Okay, so I'm actually going to see if this potentiometer thing's working right now. It said it was negative 12 point something degrees. So this changed. Let's see if this changes. Yep. It says it's negative 5 degrees now. Sweet. It's still a little bit off, but what if I turn it all the way to the right? What's the reading? 8.13 degrees. Okay, so it said negative 12 and 8. So it's slightly too much to the left. So I can, let's see if the code's in here somewhere that it said to change, to calibrate it. Potentiometer calibration, adjust these values based on your setup. Trying to figure out how this code's working that it drew out, or that it wrote. Potentiometer 2 degrees. Okay, so if I think I'll just write print, let's see, potentiometer center, minimum, and maximum. Okay, so center, minimum, and maximum. Okay, that's all within this potentiometer 2 degrees thing. Alright, so I think I will actually make it print out the value of the potentiometer. So print potentiometer value. Oops, it's val, not value. Okay, so now do Control C to stop the program. Then run it again. It auto saves. Okay, so this should print out. Okay, so I'm going to turn the wheel to the left all the way. Alright, so it's about 1450 approximately. Alright, so the minimum up here is 1450. Now turn it to the right, see what the maximum is. Maximum is really close to 1800, like 1790 something, so I'll do 1800. 1800. So the center, put it toward the center, and that is, that's weird. Oh wait. It should be close to the value between the 1450 and the 1800. So the average of those would tell the center. So it's 3,250. So 3,250 divided by 2. Let's say it's 1,500 plus 125. So 1,625. So 1,625 should be the center approximately. And that's, let's see if that. It says about 1,700 is the center. In reality, 1625. There's some slight room for error, because if you look over here, see the wheel turns a little bit without turning this up here. I'm turning it right now, barely. Okay, so I was barely turning the wheel, but the top didn't turn. Alright, so there's a little bit of wiggle room But I'll just put this to actual right here. See what the wiggle room and find the average of it. Yeah, it's about there. Okay. I barely turn it left or barely turn it right. That's equally around the center part of it where it's straight. So it barely turns left, barely turns right without doing this. So I'll put it in the center of those two ranges. Okay. So now I will look at the value to get it reality instead of just theoretical. And okay, that actually did come out pretty close to right. That came out to, yeah, about 1620. Okay, cool. It's cool when the predictions and reality align. Reality prioritizes over predictions, though. In other words, if the reality doesn't agree with the predictions, then the predictions were wrong, or some variable was wrong, possibly. Though you can modify stuff with the reality, like say like the car. You could say, well, it wasn't driving itself. Well, just modify using the laws of nature and make it drive itself or steer itself or whatever. Okay, so 1610 approximately. I'll just do 1620 because it's close to rounding error and so on. Okay, so all right, so that should hopefully calibrate right. Now come down here, stop the program, make this stop printing every rotation or iteration. And just comment that out. All right, now run it and see what happens. Zoom out. Okay. Hold on, I'm going to clean this lens. I think it's getting foggy. This is just a one-take video, probably. Okay. Yeah, that's clear. All right, now F5 and get it going. See what it do. All right, waiting. Current -2 degrees. Waiting for it. Still waiting. Okay, still -2 degrees. All right, now if I rotate it all the way to the left, -36. Okay, now rotate it all the way to the right. Hopefully it'll be close to +36. 40. Yep, pretty close. +40. Yeah, okay. That indicates that it's calibrated relatively good. All right, so roughly 40 degrees is the range, and that other output's 45 degrees. So I will make the other output, instead of 45, I'll make it output 40 maximum, I think. I'll do, yeah, probably 30. What was the minimum on here? I don't want it to get stuck. The minimum, okay, so 34 degrees. So I'll say 30 left and 30 right is the maximum. Now I'll stop this program with Control-C after I click on the command line area. Then click Claude and tell it that I want it to calibrate or make max out angle oops, that says max. Make, M-A-K-E, max out angle, or I'll just say angle range is less typing. Make, hold on, M-A-K-E, there. Make out angle range -30 to 30. Or do plus... Yeah, I'll just do 30. There's less characters. The best part is no part. It's DEGREES. Okay. Make out angle range negative 30 to 30 degrees. Alright, now hit enter. And hope it interprets that I was talking about the regular Python file and not the ESP32. I don't know why it's flashing like that. Error editing file. Okay, there we go. Let's see, what is it doing? So I'll update both files with that range. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Just update both, I guess. I think it's a good idea, hopefully. Alright, so yes, do that. Okay, what else is it doing? Oh, yeah. Okay, update that. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. I could set it to automatically do that without clicking yes, but I like to kind of make sure it's doing what I want it to do. Yes. Okay, it is. Apparently it's flibberdigitating. It seems like it comes up with random words down there. It's kind of funny. Okay. Alright, now I will run the code and see what it does. Python lane detection. Do it in the highway one. I'll use the second video because it has a lot of turns on it. Okay. There's the degrees. Okay, now I will go to here, stop the previous code, and click on it, all, X to delete. Now I'll go over here, grab the new code, Control A to highlight all, Control C to copy it all. Go over back to Thonny, Control V to paste it. Then run it and see what happens. Okay, so it says it's at 5 degrees. Let's see. It says it's at 0 degrees right now. Pretty close. So I'll bump it to the left a little bit. It's a negative point whatever. -9. Huh. That's not right. The calibration's off. What in the world? See, 1,000. Oh. You know what? I want to revert back to the code the way it was before, because that was working there. I just hit Control Z to undo code change. Now stop the program with Control C and then F5 to run it again. This will hopefully work way better. Okay, left 40 degrees, so point to the center. Should be close to 0, hopefully. 7. Okay, now turn to the right. Should be hopefully close to 40. Yep. Woohoo! Okay. Now I'm going to connect to the ESP32 Wi-Fi. As you can see, I'll call it ESP32 car. Alright, so now it's wirelessly connected. And it should be sending commands. Yeah, so it kept saying current, but now it says target angle, and it tells what that is, because that's coming from this program. So 19.88. Should see a 19.88 somewhere, hopefully. Yep, 19.88. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to plug the wire in to give it power and see what happens. Okay, this is a mower or drill battery. Alright. Broaden it there. Hold on, I'm going to check the temperature of the motor because it, well, heats up sometimes. Is it hot? Not right now. It doesn't feel very like it's overheating. Okay, the motor's up in there. You can see it. It's right behind those wires. So if I can get my hand in there, it's, well, you can see it. It has like that black hole in it. Well, autofocus. Come on, dude. There we go. Okay, so that's the motor, that silver thing. And okay, so turn this light off so it doesn't glare on the screen. Alright, so this is okay, current and target angles. So it's current. I'll flip this around so you can see it better. Hope I don't pull a wire loose while I'm at it. Okay. I'll turn this on. Focus it more. There. Alright, so it's tilted slightly to the left, and you can see here the degrees are slightly to the left. Target degrees are still to the left. So I'm waiting for the thing to say turn right. So when it gets on the left of the middle of this green, then it'll say to turn right. But it keeps saying turn left for the moment. Okay, now it should say turn right. Okay, it should be given the right command. So that should turn right. But it's not. I think this miscalibrated or something, because it keeps always saying turn left, it looks like. Okay. Look at it for a little while. Logically, it should say turn right. I think it, on this video that keeps repeating, it gets over here, and it should say turn right. Go over that way. Well, whenever the car goes over that way. Still waiting on it. It keeps telling it to turn to the left up here. I haven't seen any positive degrees so far. Oh, I think I saw it for just a fraction of a second. Okay, so there's something wrong in the code. I'm going to check the motor temperature again. Does it feel alright? Yep, it's not too hot. Good. Check the voltage. Make sure that's still at 12 volts. 12.45. Yep. Okay. Oh, and the amps. Yeah, I'm going to take a glance at this, make sure it's not overdoing the amps. Turn the camera so it won't be upside down. Okay, it's just a really small amount of amps usage. That was a sudden turn, but it's still only used a quarter of an amp about at 12 volts. Okay, so I think it's somewhere in this code whenever I said for it to adjust the maximum and minimum ranges. You know what? I think I will I'll tell it to revert the code like it was before. And I can manually go in and just put some kind of thing to adjust the maximum and minimum. How would I do that? Make code like it was before the most recent change it. Oh, wait. I think I can just push Control Z to undo it. That might fix it. Control Z. Wait, Control Shift C to redo. Highlight all. Let's see how many lines of code. That's might be a good estimate. It's 187. Okay, so if I Control Z. I don't know. I'll just ask it to revert the code. Make code like it was before most recent changes. Okay. Oh, unable to connect to the API because I disconnected from the internet, so I could connect to the ESP32. Okay, now, so connect to the internet, normal. Okay, it should be doing its thing now in the background. Okay, so let's see what it says. I'll revert the angle range back to 45 to negative 45, positive 45 in those things. Sure. What else did it say? Save the file. Yes. What is this? Update the main file. Yes. The ESP32 main file. Open changes something, blah, blah, blah. Main file. Sure. Okay, so do you want to make this edit? Yes. Enter. Okay, it is precipitating, it says. Okay, it says reverted both files back to negative 45 to positive 45 degree range. Okay, so I will just click this, and I'll just click here and zoom back out. Then run the program. See, I'll pick dirt road this time. The angles, steering angles might be bigger. Dirt 5. Enter. Okay. So that's negative. See if it goes positive. I don't see hardly any positive. Oh, there we go. It jumped to positive slightly. Alright, so I'm going to go here and connect back to the ESP32. Alright. Hopefully it'll start giving commands or whatever, or to do its thing and stuff and yada yada yada. Okay. So it's output 1.69 degrees. This just keeps saying this. Hold on. I'll stop it, then run it again. Okay. Target 1.68. Target 16.31. Target negative 10.73. Yep, it's getting through. Okay. Alright, now watch the wheels. Ooh, it's working. Brighten it up. Yes! Ha ha ha. Victory. Okay. See, it's on the center of the road, mostly, right now. Okay, if it gets off the center of the road, then it should tell it to turn the wheels to correct it. Like it gets too far to the left of the center, it'll say turn to the right. And then that wheel should turn to the right. Okay, it's a bit to the left too much, so... Or I thought it was. Oh, it could be because I put a delay in there. See, hopefully it'll get off. There it goes. See, it said turn a certain number of degrees, and it did. Ha ha ha. Okay, it's set to update every like 5 seconds or somewhere around there. So I'm going to change it up so it updates faster and hope it doesn't freeze. Okay. Whoa, what's happening? What's it doing? What's it doing? Yeah. Bruh. That was weird. Hold on, check the motor, make sure it's not overheating. Nope, it's not even slightly warm. That's awesome. Okay. Whoop, it suddenly turned to the right. Cool. Alright, so... let's see. Why is it doing that? Oh, it was misinterpreting the current angle for some reason. That was weird. Anyway. Alright, so I'm going to stop the program for now. Then stop this program. I'll do this too, just make sure it's not putting pressure on the motor. Okay, now I want it to not have that delay. So I'll just search with Control F, put SEC for seconds. That's not in there. Let's see. Where's the output of it? I can trace backwards from the output to figure it out, I think. Okay, so alright, so read, resize, steering, blah blah blah. Okay, so while loop. Okay, so result, it should say, yeah, to ESP32. Alright, steering angle. Alright, so that goes... Oh, this is every 80th frame. So I will drop it down to every 40th frame. Or, no, I'll do 50th. Make sure I don't mess up. Alright, now run it and see what happens. Okay, dirt road. Yes. Okay, now run this code and see what it do. Okay, so I don't know why it's making those jerking noises. Oh, it's trying to make tiny updates, I think, really fast. It was barely nudging the motor. And there was a certain turn, so it turned it. Oops. Ooh, that miscalculated. It looks like it keeps making a bunch of different slight adjustments. That's cool. It keeps turning the motor slightly. That's cool. It's driving it's steering itself now. Awesome. Okay, that seemed to mostly fix the problem. If it's tested in real life and if it's not working, like not turning far enough for each thing, then I can just put a multiplier on it, such as if the output, if it should turn more right or left or so on, I can just put something like, just if it should turn 50% more, I can put times 1.5 for the output going into the controls of the motor, and so on. So, yep, it looks like it's working now. It keeps auto adjusting. That's so cool. Alright, so that is how my thought processes were working for that, and thankfully the thing seems to be working now. So hope that helped, and hope it inspires others to make videos like this too. So if you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching. And hey, it's been 53 minutes already. Wow. So anyway, thanks for watching, and be sure to click like and subscribe and let me know what you think, and have an awesome one. Thank you. Bye.